This is from our guy, Brian Steele, aka the representative for Young Thug. And this is the motion to disqualify lawyers Love and Hilton. Brian Steele, the Honorable Brian Steele, YSL Steele, as they call him, the Attorney of the Year, is actually working behind the scenes and is filing some motions. But before we get into that one, we do have a new motion that was filed, and we've got Marquavius Huey is asking for bond. So this is a quick one we're going to read through real quick, and then we'll get into what Brian Steele is talking about. So check this out. We have Marquavius Huey says renewed motion for bond based upon the change in circumstances. Obviously, Judge Glanville, he's up out of here. All right, it says comes now Marquavius Huey, defendant in the above styled case, and files this motion for mistrial and or renewed motion for bond based upon a change in circumstances, and respectfully request this honorable court consider the following facts. All right. In support of this motion, defendant states, and it says the background, Marquavius Huey was booked into the Fulton County Jail on December 14th, 2021. This man has been in jail for 3 years almost. Jeez. And has remained in continuous uninterrupted custody without bond since the date of his arrest on a grand jury bench warrant. Mr. Huey petitioned this court for bond on September 8th, 2022, wherein this court denied bond. Despite proffering substantial information to the court to meet all of the factors for bond, and they're mentioned in section 1761, provides as follows. A court shall be authorized to release a person on bail if the court finds the person possesses no significant risk of fleeing from the jurisdiction and the court, or failing to appear in court when required, possesses no significant threat or danger, or any persons to the community or any property in the community, poses no significant risk of committing any felony pending trial. Okay, and then it goes on here. This is Mr. Marquavius Huey. So he's trying to get up out of there, and they're trying to get him some bond, because being in jail for 3 years on this is crazy. Absolutely crazy. But we're going to get to another motion that was filed, and this is the big one. Y'all are going to love this. This is from our guy, Brian Steele, aka the representative for Young Thug. And this is the motion to disqualify lawyers Love and Hilton. Brian is not playing. Comes now, Jeffrey Williams, by and through undersigned counsel, and hereby files this motion to disqualify lawyers Love and Hilton in the above reference case. In support of this motion, Mr. Williams shows as follows. Mr. Williams, innocent of all crimes in the above referenced indictment. As previously asserted, lawyer Love and lawyer Hilton have made themselves critical witnesses in this case, including but not limited to when lawyer Love engaged in text messages with witness Arcelian Bennett. I do not remember who this is, so I have to go back and look at that. And lawyer Love. Lawyer Hilton and Judge Glanville communicated with sworn witness Kenneth Copeland, aka Little Woody, at a critical stage of Young Thug's trial during this now infamous June 10th wholly improper ex parte meeting in chambers meeting. Man, Brian does not miss. Undersigned counsel has the duty to cross-examine Lil Woody, lawyer Love, lawyer Hilton, and Judge Glanville on all facts of this secret strategy session pursuant to the Confrontation Clause, right to present a defense, 6th and 14th Amendment right to effective assistance of counsel, due process right to a fair trial, as well as a fair tribunal on behalf of Young Thug under both the Georgia Constitution and the United States Constitution. So he put, obviously Judge Glanville's up out of here, but he put lawyer Love and lawyer Hilton and Judge Glanville in there as well. And there's a reason he did that, right? And he mentions here in this note He said the motion applies to Judge Glanville as well. Right. And we can see the supplement and amended supplement to recuse Judge Glanville filed on July 8th and July 9th, which we talked about as well. So he's saying, hey, we're going to call them as witnesses. So we need them to get out of here because they conducted themselves poorly. They had meetings they weren't supposed to. They were texting people. It's just a whole mess. So he's saying, get them up out of there, and we're going to call them to the witness stand so they cannot be involved in this case. This will mandate that Lil Woody be cross-examined before the jury about his meetings and conversations with Lawyer Love, Lawyer Hilton, and Judge Glanville. The essential questioning injects the veracity and credibility of lawyers Love and Hilton and Judge Glanville. Undersigned counsel will also examine Lawyer Love, Lawyer Hilton, and Judge Glanville as to why they knowingly made false and misleading assertions to Lil Woody about the alleged disloyalty of Lil Woody's lawyer and provided legally incorrect information to Lil Woody in order to persuade Lil Woody to testify against Mr. Williams. This is a mess. We talked about this in past videos and in past live streams. They were giving Lil Woody all the wrong information, saying, yeah, you can say whatever you want to on the stand and nothing's going to happen to you. That's just not true. Not true at all. And he mentions that, man, he mentions everything that they messed up with here. Let's go back and read it. Undersigned counsel will also examine Lawyer Love, Lawyer Hilton, and Judge Glanville as to why they knowingly made false and misleading assertions to Lil Woody about the alleged disloyalty of Lil Woody's lawyer. Were they talking about Mr. Melnick or Kayla? I don't know who they're talking about here. And provided legally incorrect information to Lil Woody in order to persuade Lil Woody to testify against Young Thug. Based upon their own deliberate and intentional concealed misconduct, Judge Glanville's lawyer Hilton and Lawyer Love's credibility and acts are now at the center in Mr. Williams' trial, aka Young Thug's trial. The lawyers must be removed and disqualified from further participation in this case, save as witnesses. All right, so he said he's going to call them, y'all. See Georgia Rule of Professional Conduct 3.7, all this other stuff. During the jury charge, it is expected that this honorable court will be asked to instruct the jury to suggest pattern jury instruction 1.70.10 as follows. The court has no interest in this case by no ruling or comment that the court has made during such progress of this trial. Has the court intended to express any opinion upon the facts of this case, upon credibility of the witness, upon evidence, or upon guilt or innocence of the defendant? That ex parte meeting just messed everything up. It really did. And with Judge Glanville being up out of there, and the reason being because Rachel Krause said, hey, it just doesn't look right, Glanville. I think you could have done a great job with this case, which we all are not believing. Stop the cap. And I think you were doing a great job with this case, but it just doesn't look right. And because people have seen it, they heard it. We want them to have faith in the Fulton County judicial system. We got to get you out of there. How can you not say the same thing about lawyers Love and Hilton at this point? They were involved in so many ways throughout this case of wrongdoing, whether that was the ex parte meeting, whether that was in court, whether that was before court when ADA Hilton met with Lil Woody, knowing that he had representation and not asking him if he wanted representation there, and then lying and saying, you didn't say you had a lawyer. You said that you didn't have a lawyer. And Lil Woody said, no, I didn't say I didn't have a lawyer. I just said I hadn't talked to him. And they already got Woody on the stand too. I really hope, I want this case and this trial to be over at this point, just because it's been such a mess and these guys have been sitting in jail for years without a fair trial. But I really want to see this cross-examination because, as I mentioned before, y'all know Lil Woody is going to give the defense every single thing they need to put the prosecution in the ground. And to not only that, but I think it's going to look good for him as well if he cooperates more with the defense, even if it's at the risk of him not looking so great. And I'm sure Brian would have a discussion with Young Thug about that too. We don't even know if Young Thug even cares at this point, to be honest. So undersigned counsel requires this above testimony from lawyers Love and Hilton and Judge Glanville in order to have the I'm sorry, y'all. The deliberating jury consider whether Judge Glanville was in fact biased for the prosecution and that this jury instruction is not applicable prior to July 15, 2024, the day Mr. Williams' motion to recuse Judge Glanville was granted. Wherefore, Young Thug respectfully requests a hearing on this motion and at the conclusion of same ask this honorable court to grant the above requested relief. Signed, the Honorable Lawyer of the Year, YSL Brian Steele. All right. And Keith Adams is up in there too, co-counsel. Yeah, I think Brian has this one in the bag. I would love to see what goes on in this hearing. I definitely hope that we get to see what happens in this hearing. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but it'll be interesting to see some of the evidence and some of the shots that are taken during this hearing, because Judge Paige Whitaker is going to have to hear this, and she's going to have to look at it. And from what I've seen from her so far, she's no nonsense. And if there's been a history of the prosecution attorneys that have been acting improperly before she got there, seems like she's just going to end it. So y'all let me know what you think in the comments.